Well, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has cautioned that democracy is dying in Africa, stressing that its decline stems from an alignment with African values and realities. Obasanjo's concern was echoed somewhat by the former Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, Chief Emeka Anyaoku, who warned that military incursion in governance, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, puts democracy in danger. However, the Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Kuka, and former Governor of Sokoto State, Aminu Bello Tambowal, noted that while democracy might not be where it should be, it remains work in progress. They all spoke at the 60th birthday colloquium of former Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Emeka Ihedioha, in Abuja. In his remark as chairman of the occasion, former President Obasanjo said, "If you're talking about democracy failing in Africa, democracy in Africa has failed. And why has it failed? Because in context and in content, it is not Africa. It does not have any aspect of our culture, our way of life, what we stand for, what we believe." The former president noted that democracy was meant to be a system of government that delivers and delivers to all the people and not just a few, as it is practiced today. While he noted that Africa had its own governance system before colonial rule, he said the current system enables leaders to grab everything illegally and corruptly while telling the people to go to court, even when justice is unattainable. He said, "It is not that democracy is failing. Democracy is dying, and if we are going to make democracy not to die, we have to look at democracy in the context and in the context of Africa." On his part, a former Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, Anyaoku, said the recent military coups in some African countries are worrisome, adding that they are a stark reminder of the 1960s when military rule was the order of the day. Wow. Comrade Pepper, these are reactions from Obasanjo and some well-meaning Nigerians at a birthday colloquium held yesterday, and they've been saying so much as regards to democracy and governance. Quickly, let me get your thoughts as regards to that.
It sounds very funny when you see people who have been in power come back to look at issues of the same society they have, taken lead over, and then begin to see it in negative lights. The question is, when they were there as these leaders, did they bother to find out what the feelings of the people were concerning their leadership? What did they do about it? Because I remember vividly that this Obasanjo, our former president, that is talking, Chief Obasanjo rather, there was some time the Niger Delta struggle was almost very high around the Bayelsa area when he ordered, it was a civilian government then, but he ordered military to go in there and a lot of destruction was being done. What was on his mind then? Is it not an African leadership? Was he not an African leader? Did it not happen in Africa? What was on his mind? What was he thinking? Did he not put democracy first at heart? What was he thinking? So if you ask me, yes, everybody should talk, including Chief Obasanjo. You should talk, no problem. But don't let us make it look like this thing is failing right now. I will always say, instead of trying to, see reasons why things are not working, try to prefer reasons how things should work. That has always been my take on things. Because give it now or take it later, politics in Nigeria has grown. Politics in Africa has grown. It has passed, in fact, it has gone so far that some of us don't even remember what politics used to be in those days in Africa. It used to be very brutal. It used to be something else even before the white man came. So if you ask me now, we've really gone far. Yes, we've not gotten it right, but I must tell you, we've gone far and on a progressive lane. We are doing better. But I will admonish that we do better than where we are today. That would be my take. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so for them to have made Africa look like Africa is not really practicing democracy, or Africa is not really going with democracy, you're saying they are dying. No, I shouldn't say they are dying. I will say they are growing. They are not full grown yet, but they are growing. It's not that they are dying. For you to say they are dying, you're ridiculing the continent, and that's not good for me, because if you shift out of African continent, go to the American continent, it's not rosy for them too. It's not rosy. And every time we want to point fingers to the Western world, Asian world, to say that they are doing well, but it's not rosy. There are wars here and there outside this continent, all for political reasons. Are we fighting such wars? I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So we should be able to appreciate how God has taken us this far, and not to see how we indirectly run things down. And then events people, when I mean event people, media people who always like to hear things, they will pick it up from that place and say, oh, Chief has also said it. You know, his soldiers and people who love him and who want to see bad things happen to the country, when they hear things like this, it becomes, hey, if Chief can say it, are you saying that it is not true? It is true. And then you begin to run your country down while others are praising their own. No, I really do not want to go with him all the way.
Okay, you really do not want to go with him all the way. You know, whilst you were talking, I was wondering, I would like to know, what does democracy means to you?
Well, democracy, it's a freedom, you know, of right exercise, choice exercise. You understand? Freedom of right exercise, choice exercise. But it's not an absolute freedom of, as an individual, doing whatever he or she likes. Because you still have the side of the law of the land guiding your democratic tenets, your democratic beliefs, your democratic faiths. Okay, that you have the power to choose whoever you want to choose, didn't mean that you go reckless about it. That you have the power to say what you want to say, didn't mean, okay, for instance, I can open my mouth and say something, so I just wake up and say you're very stupid. Is it not my right to talk? Don't I have the right to talk? Huh? In a democratic world, you have the right to talk when there is freedom of speech, true or false. But I will just wake up and say you're very stupid, you're mad. Does it now make sense? No. So democracy is freedom of speech, it is freedom of choice in any case, but they are all guided. I think that's even where we are getting it wrong. We think that when they say democracy is a thing of choice, making your choice your own way, doing it your own way, you just restrict it and end it up there. No, you have to know that there are principles guiding these choices we are talking about. Because go from where this thing started from, as in how life started. Man was given to live whichever way he chooses to live on planet Earth. But there were principles guiding this is living. He said, live, take everything you see here, but there is something you should not touch. There is something you should not do. So everything you're doing is based on the principle that you are allowed to do it. And there is also a principle that says that you should not do certain things. But you want to do it. But the principle say don't do it. That didn't mean that the principle hates you or wants to kill you. No. But to guide you also that we don't live like animals that do not have rules.
Okay. Well, I like your analysis as regards to what democracy means to you. Well, the question again now is, how would you describe democracy now in Nigeria, being practiced in Nigeria, to, let's say, the 1960, 1999, when we have Obasanjo as the president? Well, how would you describe democracy in these two instances?
You see, the truth be told, we have really improved. We didn't have freedom of speech as much as we had it this time around. In fact, the president that even officially introduced freedom of speech, as I know, was Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who permitted that people are free to speak. You know, during Obasanjo's time, such things were not there. Of course, you don't dare say things anyhow. People were not saying things openly as they ought to. It was during Jonathan's time that this open talk, that you have to tie it to democracy started. People were just saying all manner of things. In fact, at some point, even people were like, this is too much. Why? Because it was not our culture. It was not so before. So if you ask me, in the time past and time now, we have improved. Sincerely, we have improved. And also, you need to understand that the X we have now, which formerly was Twitter, wasn't really there, to bring about this public media space, discussions here and there. It wasn't there. Remember, it was during Obasanjo time that we even started having what do you call it now? This mobile network thing. That's when this thing started surfacing. So that's when we started. That's when we started nursing it. So the growth of it wasn't in his time. The growth of it came towards you know, late Yar'Adua's time, entering Goodluck Jonathan's time, until this time around. So you didn't see much of freedom of speech as in that time, and you did not also see much of this democratic losing the attitude, doing things anyhow you want it. Even though you're doing it, it's almost private because nobody hears it. Why? Because you don't have the transmitting means to get it aired. You understand? So all of those things were limited. But if you talk about it now, it's almost, before you even finish saying what you're saying, it's already in the air. You know that.
Okay, so let's take our mind back. Probably I want to use the instance of the 2023 general elections that we had.
Okay.
Looking at when this election, starting from the campaigns, where we have the primaries, the campaigns, to when we had the election, to when the winners were pronounced, and then when some people were asked to, who were not satisfied with the election result, were asked to seek redress in court. Would you say those processes towed the line of democracy?
Of course. Of course. That's why I told you that democracy, as it will give you privileges and freedoms, still have principles. Now, we just mentioned the case of you, somebody taking a case to the court to seek a redress. Right. That's it. Why is it so? Yes, it didn't go your way, but you don't just shout. There is a process to tell people, to make people believe that, yes, this thing did not really happen the way it ought to happen. That is also democracy. You understand? Are you talking? Yes. What are you saying? I'm saying that this thing is wrong. But are you confused, or rather are you making it look like it's no principle, no boundary, just any other thing? No, because you're taking the proper channel. So you can talk. You have the right to talk, but talk properly. You have the right to behave, but behave properly. You have the right to communicate with people, but communicate properly. That's what we are saying. So when they say go seek redress in court, that's actually democracy. That means you have the right. You can do so because, of course, you have the right to say this thing went well, it didn't go well. But let's see if truly it went well or it didn't go well. That's democracy.
All right, so quickly, let's take a look at the statements that Obasanjo made. He was saying that Africa had its own governance system before the colonial rule. He said that the current system enables leaders to grab everything illegally and corruptly while telling the people to go to court. Let's take a look at that statement.
You see, like I told you, Obasanjo is an elder statesman. There are things, me as a person, this is my personal opinion, please.
Yes.
Wouldn't want elders to keep saying every now and then. If you must talk like an elder. Sometimes you look at things that will make you talk, but indeed you don't need to talk about it. Because if you as an elder says it, a lot of persons will see it as a reality, but it's not so.
So are you hold on, that goes the other way?
Wait, let me say something. Are you telling me, Mr. Peter, hold on. Are you saying that in the past, where the political structure and system of Nigeria, which was a cake, existed, was better than now, where some of the injustices that were meted, all in the name of this is the right thing to do. Sometimes they kill twins. Sometimes, you did some things. They just had to hang you. They had to kill you. They have to flog you without trying you. And the trial sometimes come in a family way because you're a royal family. Is that better than now that it is open? That's a closed door judgment. You're comparing it to this open judgment that everybody is seeing.
Okay. So
that sometimes people are afraid of staying in their community because, like, you did wrong. The kingsmen will come, they will pick you up, things will go bad, it will go against you. But in this case, even when the first court says you are wrong, you still feel that you're right, you have the second court to go to. But then you don't even have any second court to go to. Once they judge your case has been judged. Is that what we are saying is better than this time?
Well, from all I have seen, from all indications that I've seen, because so many Nigerians have said quite a lot, and I can boldly tell you for free that so many Nigerians do not really, have that trust in the judiciary system any longer. Why? Because of probably what transpired 2023. Probably, I don't know if you actually saw what happens, because we saw there were lots of videos circulating social media, and the reports showed that there were so many, malpractice as regards to the conduct of that 2023 election, that a lot of people are saying. And we had issues where people were saying, okay, if you're not satisfied with this, go to court. Where people, well-meaning Nigerians, went out to vote. You and I knows that they went out to vote, to cast their votes, and then most times they go there were no ballots. Most times they said they were going to use the beavers, but the beavers were not provided for them to use, and all of that. But then we're still saying that was true, democracy, and up until now, the INEC have not said anything as regards to the beavers that malfunction at that point in time. Again,
sorry, Mr. Peter, you're not getting me.
All right, just a moment. There's a place I'm coming to. So we heard some people, Nigerians, so many Nigerians were saying that the electioneering process wasn't the way it was promised, wasn't the way they said it was going to be, because a lot of Nigerians, you know very well that they came out this time around to vote, to cast their vote, but it wasn't the way they were promised, and they felt they were really disappointed, and they were airing their view. And then we had issues like, okay, if you're not satisfied, go to the court, right? Go to court and all of that. But up till now, even when they went to court, a lot of things actually happen. I don't want to delve into that. So my take, not actually my take though, but what I'm saying based on my analysis and what I've seen that so many Nigerians have been talking about as regards to, one, again, grab it. That you are supposed to grab it. That's number one. If you're not satisfied, go to court. Should we be using such statements in a democratic government?
Well, if you ask me,
all right,
when they said, if you're not satisfied, go to court, there is nothing wrong with that.
Most definitely, there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, because what do you expect the person to tell you?
But don't you also think that there
now,
might be some sort of confidence?
That's one thing there. No.
Okay.
Like I said, I don't like preempting people.
All right.
Okay, so now, see, there are issues in the election.
Okay.
I will not sit here and tell you there were no issues in the election. Right. But the election criteria demands that these issues will be, when I mean, it will actually, be ambiguous. That is, it will cover a lot ground that when you look at it, you say, okay, this thing is good enough to say this thing stop. All right. We're all family members, and for goodness sake.
So you were saying that
what I'm saying is that there are loopholes in the election processes. Okay. We had all of those chances and every other thing. But if I ask you, did you go straight to the whole of the units of the country to see that all these things they said were there? You don't, even if you cite it in Rivers State, the whole of Rivers State alone. Let's say the whole of the units in Rivers State. Look at the 23 LGs in Rivers State and say the whole of the units in the 23 LGs had malpractice in that place. That's never enough to cancel the election of Nigeria. That's what I'm telling you. Because if people say, we want to spoil this thing and this is what we want to do, you can't look at it. I'm not saying that there are not evidences. We saw it ourselves. But it must hold water to the extent that, it must hold ground rather to the extent that, okay, with this thing you're saying, because for goodness sake, it's money that has been spent. And every little thing shouldn't make you waste the whole money and just let it go and say, because one person cried foul in this place. And let me tell you one thing. Let me just tell you one thing. Don't be deceived with these things. Sometimes some of us have been on this election ground and we've been there very well. People say they came out during a 2023 election. Is that what they told you? Did you get the River State this thing? Take it for example. During Goodluck Jonathan's time, it was about 2 million plus. Close to 2 million plus. Did you get how many? 200 and something thousand. That's for this last one. And they are telling you that they came out. It's not even up to 1 million. They told you that they came out and you are believing that? No, people didn't come out. You understand? It's media coming out that they came out for. They actually use the media to bastardize the system to make it look like it's not working. Is America election as it were when the thing got through? Is it so comfortable with everybody? Did everybody say, oh, it went very well, everything was peaceful? There were people who are still looking at pictures of whatever thing here and there, but like what they saw as being positive overshadowed the whole of that of the negatives, and so they will start delving into such cases again.
All right, still on.